because in a way we could have done it the other way around, and your case would have been kind of the perfect example for what I was kind of aiming at with my little lecture. So this is kind of a short way of thinking about a way towards exactly the strategy that you have been ending with. When I was asked to think about kind of pricing in a European perspective, or pricing and other factors influencing the decision about visiting theaters, in a European or in a more general perspective, I immediately thought, okay, one cannot think about that apart from political decisions about how theaters are financed or meant to be or finance themselves or be financed. And to remember that the fact that with dynamic price, what I'm going to talk about also a bit, here I'm probably already preaching to some already converted, is due to the fact that we are here in Sheffield in the United Kingdom, where theatres for quite some time are forced by the cultural policy scheme to realize the largest part of their budget by earned income, i.e. through ticket sales mostly. So this has to be kept in mind. Most people sitting here know that, but I just wanted to hint to that of course the pressure to optimize price and to think about pricing is much higher when you when your existence as an organization relies on that. And for a lot of continental theaters, this has not been the case to that extent until perhaps about 15-20 years ago. In these last 2 decades, even also in continental Europe, traditional theaters have been increasingly be under pressure to raise the level of earned income through ticket sales, and both by implicit pressure through diminishing public funding, but also by a growing discussion about the legitimacy of use of public funds through organizations, and the fact that we were also talking about already quite a few times, that theater audiences perhaps systematically can only reflect a part of society, but perhaps never the whole society. So these factors together have led to the fact that also in the continent more theaters are, okay, that's the direction, are thinking about pricing more precisely. And just as an economist and as a researcher, as a scientist, I thought I might try to be a bit analytical, and in a way one has to be aware that there's a trade-off between two different objectives that are very often set for us organizations, which most of you are also aware. A is to, in a way, optimize or maximize revenues, the contribution that through ticket sales you make to your budget, and on the other hand, to use prices as an instrument to fulfill the social obligations or objectives of your theater, being to include as many parts of the society you're based in into your audiences. And obviously, if you do one thing a lot, you tend to lose on the other aim, so a classical dilemma. And to give some input on kind of empirical or data background on about thinking while thinking about pricing, I wanted to point out to a fact that Claire has been hinting to when you said that there wasn't so much resistance against raising prices for quite a large part of the seats in this venue, and this is an observation that has been made by quite a lot empirical researchers that. Apart from, of course, very steep increases or very drastic reductions of prices, compared with consumer markets or service markets, the demand or the decisions on visiting theater or participating in cultural demands is not reacting very strongly on changes in price. And there are a few. This is both a structural finding that has been found directly by kind of incrementally changing prices and to see how demand develops. Of course, this is difficult to perform for each theater because, and this is the other thing, other factors are much more important for. In influencing the visiting behavior, the programming, the aesthetic preferences of the audiences, the aesthetic preferences and habits of peer groups, living conditions, and so forth. So all these other factors are usually more important. This is what we, for instance, also found out in all of the population, or call it non or new visitor studies that we've been performing within Theatron. Also, when you have statistical analysis about kind of the statistical relationship between satisfaction with prices and the general satisfaction, the kind of change in the satisfaction with prices almost has no significant correlation or statistical interdependence with the general satisfaction, whereas, for instance, the satisfaction with programming or aesthetic profile or the style of directing really has strong impact. So also this hint that prices do not influence that much the behavior of at least existing audience or people that in some way are generally inclined to visit theater. So, in a way, this is what dynamic pricing is aiming at. Is saying that if it is okay for quite a lot of people to pay more for going to theater, okay, make them contribute more to the existence of these theaters. And on the other hand, lowering prices alone will not really increase visits either. So how to cope with that? One thing, I call it just pricing to preferences. The strategies for these are not so new, a lot of these. I mean, different seating categories are common to perhaps quite a few of your theaters. Most big city theaters do differentiate prices according to seat categories and to the quality of sight or hearing that they provide. You've been already hinting at. I was actually avoiding kind of this word of dynamic pricing because dynamic pricing is kind of really kind of big structure that stands behind it. It's more down to earth to just look at what it means. It means that, as you said, have different prices according to the day of the week. Saying that make people or price shows that are not so well booked lower than those who are well booked, because that they are well booked shows that these people are willing to perhaps pay a higher price because they have a stronger, because there's a stronger preference for these shows. Also, production with stars, well-known actors in the cast may be priced higher. Festival or guest performances might be with guests with high rotation might be priced higher. Special seasonal programs like Christmas shows might be priced higher. I always will remember our first presentation in Sadler's Wells. Thank God for Christmas. I wish it would last till Easter. And of course, that's the economic reality that Sadler's Wells has to face there. This is the kind of a reaction to this trade-off. Just to make you aware that dynamic pricing, and this is why I was avoiding the word goes beyond that, and you've been hinting to that. It also means that you adopt strategies that usually you know when booking flights. So when you book early, then this is called markup. When you book early, you pay less than if you book late, which has also the fact that for people who might pay less or might want to pay less, they are driven to book these early seats, whereas kind of the flexibility to buy late is kind of used as a theater to say, okay, if you want this flexibility, then you might also pay more. So this is one thing. If you see that, or if you think, or if you see that a production is well booked, then you might also change, in a way, the pricing category of the whole seating system. Also, this is a strategy of dynamic pricing, which also in cases that we've been observing and analyzing has proven to be very effective in raising the revenues from production, even if you're perhaps losing a few people who you lose because they are not willing to pay that price. But for the revenue system, this is effective. Okay, and of course this is the one thing, and I've been talking about this. I've been talking about this trade-off, and wanted to hint to another fact that, or another strategy, bundle of strategies that you already gave a very good example. Also, Uppsala Theatre with their program of reductions, and also with this Netflix, you call it, a subscription. Lower prices alone will not really change your audience structure, usually. It only will change your audience structure if you make the people know who for which this program is conceived get to know about this, and if the program that you are offering them is of interest for them. Because, as I said, the most decisive factor for visiting theatre is only for a very, very small group of society the price. But it's that they don't like theatre in general, or they are not interested in it. They rather go to movies. They rather going to rock pop concerts or to events in the streets. So it's not the price. But if you want the price to have an effect, lower the barrier, the boundaries to the theatre, then you have to accompany it with programming, with, as you said, making producers aware that this is part of your strategy, adapt your communication strategy to it, go to marketing via social networks if you want to aim specifically at younger audiences or students. So integrate this pricing structure into a comprehensive strategy. Only then will it have a real effect, and then it really can change over a very short time dramatically your audience structure. And well, this in a way sums it up. If you are facing, and I think theaters will be increasingly facing this trade-off induced by the kind of this two conflicting aims, and you have instruments to approach both of the challenges, but you have to be clear at what audiences you are targeting with each of the instruments. Which parts of the program are rather suitable for dynamic pricing, and with which part of your programs do you rather think you will reach target groups that are not so often coming to the theater, but for political or your own social, ethnical, whatever reasons, would like to come to the theater more often, and then build upon those to conceive programs like Ignite or like the Netflix subscription to make them come and to experience theater as often as possible. Yes, this is my pledge in a nutshell. Thank you.